It's funny that they're trying to bring reparations up in the picture for black people, but black people want cash payments, checks, whatever, or tangibles. This is the thing. They could make laws against that. They could do all kind of things. They could uh, throw you in jail, do Jim Crow 3.0 and beyond, do all kind of crazy stuff to get you to stop using your reparations benefit. And then another thing that doesn't make sense is that y'all want reparations in the time that cash and checks and tangibles are basically going to be seized and valueless, because pretty soon they're going to be talking about you ain't going to own nothing. A corporation's going to have to own it. There's no private rights, nothing. So you want cash when cash is becoming valueless. You want a check when banks are closing left and right, taking people's money overnight, making it disappear, making people do extra verification, and then also making agreements within the terms of service to say misinformation is a thing and we're going to have to charge you for this, that, and the third. So if they find out that you're believing that you think a certain way that's against their, their idea and agenda, they could do all kind of stuff to that money. So I think it only makes sense to do what they've been doing. Oppress people and kick them out the land, or, mark them, because this doesn't make sense that you're trying to get something out of an oppressor and oppressors who are not done oppressing you. And you're trying to make peace with your oppressor and live amongst your oppressor. It only makes sense to kick them out the land so you don't have no problems. You control trade so you don't have no problems. Or you mark them so you don't have no problems and you wouldn't be needing to ask for reparations. How about that? We master the art of war, because the same smoke that they've been giving us and the way that they treat us, expecting us to be evil, because everything that we do, they expect us to do something negative. And then on top of that, they provoke us. They provoke us to want to fight back. They're not asking for peace from us. They're begging every single day for us to murk them, make them servants, and oppress them. And move them out the land, too. They're begging for that. So the fact that we're over here asking for reparations doesn't make any sense. The best form of reparations is blood. All the evil that they have done, they have to pay in blood. That is the only way to cleanse the land and make people happy and to solve the problem. Then on top of that, I think it's very convenient that they're passing laws to bring back slavery. If you have any trail of your ancestry linked up to a slave master who got paid reparations for having his slaves taken away from him and moved to the state, because it went from private ownership of slaves to public ownership of slaves, they could easily link that back up and start that mess back over again. And the people who owned your family members can say, well, the state took over for us, so we want reparations too. So we want it in the form of slaves. We want you guys. We're reclaiming our property, which is you guys, the descendants. So if you're going to be proving that you're related to somebody by blood, being a descendant of slaves, then you might be setting your own self up, because you don't have to prove nothing to nobody other than the fact that you own this land and you do it by force. This making peace and begging and asking people to get stuff, you're never going to have a redeemer. Never, as long as they're here. So it at some point, somebody's going to have to get the smoke, and everybody ain't built for that, to hand the lashes out. Only people in the right mind who understand what true justice is and is sick and tired of oppression and have wisdom, they're angry and they understand what needs to be done. They may understand but not be able to do it, to get that kind of job done. It comes a point in time where things have to get done with violence because it doesn't make any sense with this peaceful approach. It just doesn't work. Nobody wants a peaceful approach anyway. It's time to start moving very differently. Because that day will come when the Dark Ages 2.0 is going to come. And that's what they're secretly afraid of. And that's why they don't want to give you these things. Because they know when you get those assets, no, I should say those, standard form of payments and tangibles, and you start turning those into assets, you're going to start turning the nation upside down. And they don't want that. That's why they're taking their sweet time. They're waiting till cash is irrelevant and checks are irrelevant. Because you notice the banks have been doing direct deposits. They don't really do checks. They don't do cash. They don't do none of that because we're going to go into a phase in life where everything's digital through a chip in your hand or in your forehead. So I suggest y'all start getting wisdom and then you'll obtain favor and all the other things because this ain't working because it's about to be a catch-22. You trying to prove your heritage and who you are, and then you end up linking yourself into something else and you end up contracting yourself into some nonsense. You're not going to have a savior from them. They're not here to make anything better or make anything right. They're not done smoking you. So let's get it together and be a lot more angry than this. Because talk, it just ain't it. It's time to start moving people out the way. So, yeah, as y'all pressing for this, like this is your answer. Yeah, you could get a little something out of this, but you got to be much smarter than them and much more angry. So, yeah.